Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste. Welcome back to yet another session in our Weekend with Wisdom series. In this series, we have been listening about Vibheeshana Gita, an enunciation on the Chariot of Dharma. We have with us Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati ji. Namaste, Swami ji.
Namaste.
Before I move ahead, I would like to chant a small prayer. समस्त जन कल्याणी निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः. Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati ji is a master of Advaita Vedanta and the disciple of Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji and Swami Paramananda Bharati ji. He was born in Mumbai and grew up strongly influenced by the lives and teachings of many saints. It was while studying for a master's degree in geology that he developed an interest in studying the scriptures. After completing the traditional course in Vedanta at Sandipani Sadhanalaya, Mumbai, he served in Chennai Mission teaching this ancient wisdom in various centers of the mission in India and abroad for 33 years. Since July 2019, he is working independently, not associated with any organization from Delhi, guiding seekers in their spiritual pursuits. People like his satsangs because he demystifies this knowledge and presents it in a very simple and rational manner. All those who interact with him, be they students, householders, professionals, or corporate leaders, are attracted to his subtlety of thought and his vast experience in sharing this ancient wisdom. A true teacher, he is always available to any questions put to him from any age group or background. Swamiji has been a regular participant at interfaith panel discussions in and outside Delhi and abroad. Once again, on behalf of the Indika Moksha team, I thank you, Swamiji, for accepting our invitation to do this session for all of us. It has been a wonderful experience the past 3 sessions, and this being the last session, the concluding session of this talk. We are looking forward to what is in store. With that brief introduction, I hand over the session to you. Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you. We'll begin with a prayer. Om Varnanam Artha Sanghanam Rasanam Chandasamapi Mangalanam Chakartaro Vande Vani Vinayako Bhavani Shankaro Vande Shraddha Vishwasarupino Yabhyam Vinana Pashyanti Siddha Swantastanishwaram Vande Bodhamayam Nityam Gurum Shankararupinam Yamashrito Hivakropi Chandras Sarvatra Vandyate Sitaram Gunagrama Punyaranya Viharino Vande Vishuddha Vijnanam Kavishwara Kapishwaro Udbhava Sthiti Samhara Karinim Kleshaharini Sarvashreyaskarim Sitam Natoham Rama Vallabham Yanmaya Vashavarti Vishwamakilam Brahmadi Deva Suraha Yassattvadamrsheva Bhati Sakalam Rajjo Yathahir Brahmaha Yatpadaplavamekame hi bhavam bodhestite shavatam Vandeham tamashesha karana param Ramakyamisham harim Nana purana nigamagama sammatam yata Ramayane nigaditam kvachidanyatopi Swanta sukhaya tulasi raghunatha gatha Bhasha nibandhamati manjulamatanoti Bhasha nibandhamati manjulamatanoti Neelam bhujasyam malako malangam Sita samaropitavam bhagam Pano mahansaya kacharuchapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram 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 Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Bole Siyava Ramachandra Bhagwan Ki Jai Hari Om Hari Om. We have been listening to this beautiful Vibheeshana Gita, where Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra ji teaches Vibhishan ji the very essence of Dharma. Seeing Ravana seated in a chariot and Bhagavan Sri Ram without a chariot, without an armor, without proper shoes, Vibhishan ji becomes very disturbed, he is concerned, and he asks Bhagavan that how will you fight and win over this powerful warrior without a chariot? So Bhagavan takes this opportunity to tell him that the chariot which is required to fight enemies is a different chariot altogether. It is the chariot of Dharma. Only when we have this chariot, we will be able to move forward in life and destroy all enemies and reach our destination. So, taking the metaphor of a chariot, Bhagavan explains the beautiful path of Dharma, which is shown in our Shastras, the Vedas, and all the other Granthas. So first, Bhagavan described the wheels of this chariot, because chariot will move only if there are good wheels. So Shauraj Dhiraj, Shaurya means courage, and Dhairya, that patience and that ability to persevere, to hold on to our path, is what is called Dhairya. These are the two wheels of the chariot. And the chariot is also, there is an important feature, which is the flag. The flag and the flag post is there on the chariot. And on the chariot of Dharma, we should have a flag of Satya. Satya should be our goal, our mission in life, for which we are fighting, for which we are living, for which we will ready to die. Our ultimate destination Our altar of reverence is the flag that is Satya. And to hold this flag firmly and let the flag flutter. The flag is very, very soft. It flutters, but it requires a firm post to hold it. And that is Shila. Shila means our good nature, good character. All-round goodness in our daily interaction with people. Goodness of character is very important, which holds the flag very firmly on the chariot. The chariot moves forward when it has got the strength and power of the horses which pull it. So there are 4 horses Bhagavan mentions. Ki bala viveka dama parahita ghode. Bala means strength, physical, emotional, intellectual strength, spiritual strength. Viveka is the ability to distinguish between the 2 things which come in our way, like duties and non-duties, good and bad, pap and punya, kartavya and akartavya. All this constantly come in on our path, and we should be able to distinguish and decide exactly what is what. So that is Viveka, and Dhamma is self-control, control over our senses. We should not only be able to express, but we should also have the ability to withdraw, to hold back. And that is very important. And then Parahita, that intense desire to serve and to think of the welfare of all and help everyone around. That is the Parahita. That is also one of the horse which moves this chariot of our dharma forward. Somebody asked Veda Vyasji, what is pap and what is punya? Can you tell us briefly? So Veda Vyasji says that para upakar, to serve others, to help others, to be of use to others is punya, and to hurt others, to harm others is papa. Briefly, this is the meaning of papa and punya. So parahita is very important quality in dharma. But these horses are also to be controlled by reining them, by putting the reins on them. And the 3 reins, 3 ropes are mentioned here. 4 horses are there. Those 3 reins are there in between each 2 of the horses. So Kshama, Kripa, Samata, Rajujore. Kshama, forgiveness. We should have deep sense of forgiveness in our antakarana. Because when we live in this world, we face many different experiences, good, bad, indifferent. We feel hurt, we feel disturbed, we feel pained. And there are people around whom we blame, our own family members, neighbors, relatives, friends, even sometimes devatas and our prarabdha. And we blame everyone in the world, the government and the various parties and various things. But whatever happiness, unhappiness I experience as a person is actually the result of my karma only. Others just become the nimitta to deliver that my karma phala. They are just a nimitta to deliver. If I have to get troubled by my neighbor, then wherever I go, the neighbor will trouble me. If I have to be troubled by my boss, whichever company I join, the boss will trouble me. Because it is there in my prarabdha. That is one thing. So thinking in that way, I should have the sense of forgiveness towards everyone who hurt me, who harm me. But as a vyavhar, one should deal with different people differently according to their nature, which is this show. If there is some negative person, we should avoid them. If somebody is trying to hurt us, we should defend ourselves. We should, if that person becomes aggressive, we should use our own force and power. So passivity is not taught by this term forgiveness. We should be strong, we should be assertive in our way. And if the person understands his mistake and he asks for forgiveness, we should forgive. We should not express our dislike towards that person. But if that person has not understood his own mistake, he or she, and is continuing with his aggressive and intolerant behavior, then we should deal with that person accordingly. To just go out and forgive and get hurt by people is not what is the meaning of the term forgiveness. In our heart, we should have total purity, because we should not hurt ourselves because of the wrongdoings of other people. But while interacting with the world, we should use our discrimination, whether to express our forgiveness or not to express our forgiveness, whether to deal with that person strongly or whether to just forgive and forget that person. It depends on the situation and that person. So this forgiveness is also a very important quality, which is a part of this dharma, which has to be understood properly, which controls the horses. The horses of strength and power and discrimination and welfare and all should also be controlled by this rope of forgiveness. In our excitement to help and to do something in the world, we should not be aggressive. Then kripa, compassion should be there in our heart towards all beings. Compassion is love, and also we should express our love in the form of serving them, taking care of them. Not a passive love, but a love expressed to really take care. That is compassion. Compassion doesn't mean that somebody is feeling pain or suffering and all, and I just express my sorrow, how sad, and just walk away. No, I should do something to remove the sorrow and pain from the life of that person. That is compassion. Compassion is active, it's not passive. So kripa samata. Samata is equanimity. To have the vision of equanimity in our antakarana. Again, this is something which is a result of my deep understanding of the Shastras, which indicate the reality of this world. Really speaking, that one supreme reality is present equally everywhere. Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Cheva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. A wise person becomes Samadarshi. He sees the same truth everywhere. So we should develop that samatha in our antakarana to be able to see something which is common in all. See, again in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says that there are three types of knowledge which people have. A tamasic knowledge is when we consider only one, when we focus only on one expression of this world as everything. When people say, no, money itself is everything or power itself is everything, it is a fanatic understanding of life. But when we see everything as different, this is different, that is different, that is different, that is a Rajasic understanding of life. But when we see and understand that there is one factor which pervades everything, there is one thing which binds everything like a string in a garland, which connects everything in a deeper way. If we understand that and we keep that in our antakarana, then we will have the proper samatha. In Gita, Bhagavan says, Matta parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. Mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. That there is nothing greater and lesser than me. I alone am there, and I alone exist as the thread existing in a garland. The thread connects all the different types of flowers. We may not see the thread, but it is the thread which connects the flowers. So if we have that vision to see that divinity, we will develop that samatha, that equanimity in all situations, among all types of people, and among all types of things. When we interact with this world, we have to interact with things, beings, and situations. So in all situations, among all things and among all people, all beings, we should be able to retain our samatva. And this is possible if we have a strong foundation within, where we stand, where we are firmly rooted. Just like a lighthouse in an ocean, everywhere you see the waves are rising so widely, and the waters have become so rough. The ocean has become rough, and the waves are lashing on the little rock in the middle of the ocean. But the lighthouse which is there on that rock, on that little island, it remains steady. It doesn't move. It is firm, and the light also remains steady, guiding the ship which are moving the ocean. The lighthouse light remains steady. Why? Because it is held on a firm ground. Similarly, we should be our whole personality, our whole system should be held in a firm ground within. And that firmness is actually Ishwara only. If we hold on to Ishwara very strongly within, we will remain sama in all situations. Therefore, in Gita also, Bhagavan, in many places, he talks about the importance of this sama. Samatvam yoga uchyate. He says samatvam itself is yoga. So these three ropes are there, which are the three reins which are controlling the horses. But the most important thing which is required is a proper charioteer. Without a charioteer, if we have the chariot with wheel, good horses, and everything is fine, but if no charioteer, then the chariot will not function. Actually, the charioteer is so important that it is depicted even in Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan himself is sitting on Arjuna's chariot as a charioteer, to show the importance of this charioteer. Even in the Upanishad, the buddhi is given that place of a charioteer. Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. Deep understanding is like a charioteer. So, in case of dharma, when we are seated in our dharma ratha, we ourselves are not driving. This dharma ratha is not a self-driven vehicle, because we have to fight. We can't be driving and fighting at the same time. Like many people drive and they use their mobile and all at the same time, they will meet with an accident. They will get distracted because of that. So here the charioteer is different, and the warrior, I am different. I am the master of the chariot. I am the warrior. I don't ride the chariot, but I have a charioteer who is very wise and who is tuned to me, and who is also tuned to the horses and the chariot, means who is skilled in riding the chariot. The horses should feel at ease with the charioteer. He should use those reins in a very proper way. Otherwise, it can be very disturbing to the horses, can be hurting to the horses also. So the charioteer should be in tune with the horses, should know how to hold the reins, and should be tuned with the master of the chariot, should know what the master wants. The master cannot be giving him instruction every now and then. Like if you are using our car, our driver is there, the driver should be efficient. He should know all the routes, he should know all the rules, regulation of the traffic. He should maintain the car properly, put what you call the petrol and all, whatever is required properly, and do the servicing and all, and should be ready whenever the master wants to use the car. At any time, he should be available and should be very efficient in driving also. Should not be rough, should not break any rules, and should know all the lanes, by lanes, should know if there is a traffic jam somewhere, should know which other route he can take, all these things, and should have good manners, good behavior, should not have his own personal agenda. The master is saying, go there, and he thinks, no, I will go this side and all. So should be totally tuned. It's good. So who can be the charioteer of our chariot of Dharma? And beautiful thing here, Bhagavan says, Isha bhajano sarathi sujana. Ishwar bhajan. Ishwar bhajan means what you call love for Ishwara. Ishwara pranidham. Patanjali in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Patanjali Rishi calls it Ishwar pranidham. The attitude of surrender to Ishwara, which comes through love and understanding about Ishwara. The total trust in Ishwara. See, when we have a driver and when we have full trust with the driver, then we don't bother about anything else. We just focus on our own work. Sometimes people take their car, and in their car itself, they have to do some office work and all. They just focus on that, and driver takes them properly to the destination. You don't have to give instruction on the way all the time. The driver knows. And especially the charioteer, who is the charioteer of a chariot which is used in a war, should be extremely alert and efficient, should know the situation, because there also the master cannot be giving instruction all the time. He should be totally tuned to the master and should be able to handle the horses and the chariot very efficiently. And this in our life, in our dharma, it will happen when we have the total tuning with Ishwara, Ishwar pranidham. Give the chariot of your dharma, of your life, to Ishwara to drive. And that is the wise thing which Arjuna did. Bhagavan Krishna, you only ride my chariot. You know the path, you know the goal, you know me, you know where I have to reach. So you take me. You take me to my destination and deal with whatever things come on the way, the obstacles come. If you want to take a diversion, if you want to stop for some time, if you want to increase the speed, or if you want to go slow, you decide and take my chariot to my destination. That total dedication and trust to Ishwara, in Ishwara, is what is called Isha Bhajana. In Yoga Sutra, Patanjali Rishi had given a long list of what are the steps which will help us to attain the final goal of Chitta Vritti Nirodha and Samadhi. And it's a very difficult path which he tells you have to control your mind, you should have Abhyas and Vairagya and all. Somebody asked Patanjali Rishi, is there any alternate method? Is there any alternate method of attaining Samadhi easily? Easily without all this effort. Patanjali Rishi said, yes, it is by Ishwara Pranidhanatva, by dedicating yourself to Ishwara, by surrendering to Ishwara, by having the trust to Ishwara, then he will take care. He will take care of your life because he knows the path and the goal. So the Isha Bhajanu Sarathi Sujhana. The Sarthi is that love for Ishvara, and this Sarthi is also Sujan, wise. So wisdom, proper wisdom and that devotion together drive the chariot of our dharma and take us to our destination. So intense love for Ishvara, trust in Ishvara, and having that wisdom, understanding of Ishvara and his nature, this will guide our chariot in the proper direction. Because sometimes in life, situation comes when we get confused. We don't know which path to take. We don't know which direction we have to lead our life. So in these circumstances, if we just trust in Ishvara, that he will take me to my destination. If I just surrender to Ishvara, have that rapport with Ishvara, and with that rapport, I move ahead. That he will guide me, he will take me to my destination. Till now, he has taken care of me, and he will take care of me in future also. So that attitude of Ishwar Sharanagati and that wisdom of Ishvara in our Antakarana will help us to manipulate our chariot properly in this battlefield of life. We will be able to handle the horses properly, we will be able to handle the reins properly, and we will be able to move our chariot of dharma properly through in this battlefield. So Isha Bhajano Sarathi Sujana. So this is the structure of the chariot, the two wheels, the flag post and the flag, the four horses, the reins, and the charioteer. These are the different parts of the chariot. It's like I have a car, a very modern, very sophisticated car, and a good driver is there. But the driver, car and all will function only when I go and sit in the car and I instruct the driver to take me to my destination. So I am the owner of that chariot, this chariot. I am the master of this chariot. And I am a warrior. So each one of us, whether you are a male, female, young, old, each one of us, we are warriors on this path of dharma, fighting the enemies within. See, our Pujya Gurudev also in his beautiful this pledge, he says that, what does he say? We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. He also gives example that we should be like courageous and like a soldier fighting against the enemies within and without us. We have enemies within, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsar. And these enemies alone are expressing in the world outside. So first we have to conquer these enemies within, destroy them. And their effect we will see in the world outside also. If I have a lot of anger in my heart and I go out to destroy the anger of this world, that will not help. If I have jealousy, greed, passion, ignorance in my antakarana, but I want to go and uplift the world, that alone will not help. I should first destroy the enemies within. When you travel by plane also, they say that when there is a some pressure difference or something happens, the thing will fall down and you can breathe in the oxygen. But before helping your neighbor or before helping others, you put that on yourself first. Because if you don't help yourself, you will go unconscious. You will not be able to help others also. So we should be able to destroy the enemies within. So we are the soldiers, we are the warriors fighting this war. And our enemy, the greatest enemy is this Ravana who is there within us, the Moha. But Ravana is not single-handedly fighting with us. He has his great army. He has got his family members, his friends, all of them are with him. So Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsar, Abhiman, Darpa, Damba, and all, so many are there. And they are all related. When one comes, other also comes. When this fellow comes, this fellow comes. So they are all related to each other. They have their own what you call equations. These emotions and these negativities, they have their own equations. They are all mathematical actually. Therefore, here in this chariot also, the whole equation is presented so that we can understand. See, the wheels are there which help the chariot to move, but they cannot move without the horses. But horses can be controlled by the reins, but reins are controlled by the charioteer. But charioteer also works under this master. If the master himself doesn't have the will to fight, if the master doesn't have the desire to overcome the negativities, if the master has given up before itself, then even if there is a beautiful chariot, it will not help. So we should be strong enough to fight the inner and outer enemies. We are the warriors, peaceful warriors, but warriors. So a warrior is warrior along with all the weapons and all. So even in Sikhism and all, the gurus, they say that you should walk this path and you should also be like a warrior, fighting against all low tendencies and low values within and without. So how should I be dressed and what should be the weapons which I should carry? That is also described here. So Bhagavan says, ki birati charma santosha kripana. He says that you should have a shield and a sword. I, as a warrior, seated in my chariot, which is described here, I am having one weapon, sword in my hand, and a shield. When others use their weapon, I can defend myself with the shield. So what is the shield? The shield is Vairagya, Birati Charma. In the good old days, the shield was made with some skin, strong skin, so that if other person attacks you with a sword, you can defend yourself, you can protect yourself. Even it can deflect arrows which were shot at you. So a strong shield which can move depending on from where the danger is. One can move that shield, but at the same time, so shield is to defend, but sword is there for offense also, to attack. and also to protect. So what is the shield? Vairagya. And what is the sword? It is santosha, contentment. And this sword is used directly. See, sometimes the enemies, though I am seated in my chariot and in the war, but sometimes the enemy just comes and attacks me. And then I have to step down from the chariot and fight with that enemy. At times, one has to even step down from the chariot and go on the ground and fight with the enemy who is trying to attack at close quarters. So when the enemy, and who is the enemy? See, Vairagya is the shield. So attachment is the enemy who is attacking. And Santosh is the sword. So discontentment is the enemy. Opposite of all these qualities are the enemies which are there in our life. Discontent, Santosh is contentment, satisfaction, deep sense of fulfillment. And this comes when I see what I have. Instead of focusing on what I don't have, I focus on what I have. And I have a lot. Ishwara has given me a lot. But then sometimes the discontentment comes. When we look at other person, we say, "Arey, uske paas dekho kitna hai. He has got a bigger house, he has got a larger car, he has got more money, he has got a better this place." So I feel jealous, I feel sad. I then look at myself and say, "Oh, I don't have all this," feel dissatisfied. So this santosh, contentment, is an attitude of looking at myself and the world with a proper positive attitude. Because the situation remaining same, a person can remain discontent or remain very content also. The famous example of a glass filled with, half filled with, let us say, milk. So if I just look at the portion which is empty, I will feel sad, oh, I don't have this, it is so empty. But if I look at the portion which is filled, I will feel happy that yes, I have half a glass of water, milk to drink. Similarly, if I focus on what I have, what Bhagavan has given me, first of all, Bhagavan has given me this life. He has given me the family, the friends, relatives, Guru, the Shastra. So it's the greatest gift which Bhagavan can give to anyone. We should feel deep sense of contentment and grateful and thankful. It is like a sword which can cut the enemy of discontent, of greed, of a sense of emptiness. But still the enemy attacks, then we can defend ourselves with vairagya, having total detachment. No attachment to people, place, things, no attachment to pleasures. So whenever we see that attack is coming from this side, we can hold a shield on that side. So vairagya is like a shield. And the enemy of this vairagya is attachment. And when that enemy of attachment comes, we have to then come down from our chariot to fight that enemy. And during that time, the chariot has to be stopped. So attachments in life stops our progress. We are moving forward, but because of attachment to things, people, and family members, or some wealth or position or pleasure or something like that, hinders our growth, spiritual growth. It prevents us from moving forward. A lot of time gets wasted in fighting with that enemy and again boarding the chariot. But sometimes one has to do this. So, bara vijnana kathina ko danda. Birati Charma Santosha Kripana. Then Dana Parasu. Then again another enemy is there of Lobha, greed. Actually, human beings, they have three main enemies: Kama, Krodha, and Lobha. In Gita also, Bhagavan says these are three gateways to hell: Kama, Krodha, and Lobha. Desires, unrestricted desires, uncontrolled desires, then anger, angry young man or angry old man or woman, anger, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, greed, want more and more and more and more and more. So I am on the chariot, I am moving towards my destination, but that greed comes. And to destroy this greed, Bhagavan says you should use your Parshu. Parshu is a very interesting weapon. Parshu is an axe. That axe is also held in hand and one can use it against the enemy. But that axe can also be thrown to hit the enemy. If the enemy is at a distance, one can even throw the axe. Sword you cannot throw like that, but axe you can throw. Or if the enemy comes too much close, then one can fight with the enemy. Similarly, greed, if it comes too close also, we have to fight with this axe of dhan, give. Or even if it is far away, if we keep giving dhan, greed will not come in our life. Because we will know, as we share whatever we have, a very mysterious thing happens, that more and more things start coming in our life. The more we share, the more it comes. It's a great miraculous law of this world. The more you share, the more you will get. If I have wealth, if I share, wealth start coming from different sides. And we see this in the society also. Some people just suddenly they feel that great desire to help, to serve, and they just, whatever wealth they have, they just put it and start serving. And people notice that this person is taking care of the orphans, he is taking care of the animals, the birds. And they also start coming forward, helping, pouring in the more and more money comes and other things come. And the ability to serve keep on growing, the circle keeps on growing. More and more people join hands and they also want to do the seva. So this is a mystery of this world, that just like bad people attract bad people, goodness also attracts goodness. If I express goodness, then all those who are good around me also get attracted, and then it will create a strong force. So dana parasu, dan is like Parshu. Even Parshuramji, a great avatar of Bhagavan, he just carried only Parshu in his hand. His name was Ram, but because of Parshu, he was known as Parshuram. And with that Parshu, he killed all those arrogant Kshatriyas from this world. Kshatriyas also, because of their arrogance of power and all, they had become so corrupt and so destructive that Parshuramji took this vow that I will just destroy all the Kshatriyas from the whole earth. And he went about killing them. And 21 times, because every time he killed, more and more were born. So 21 times he killed, he made the whole earth free of all the Kshatriyas. And still that anger was there in his heart. And when he came to know that Bhagavan, somebody broke Shivji's Dhanush, he had donated that Dhanush to Janak Maharaj. And then he heard that somebody broke that Dhanush. Ramchandraji had broken, but he did not know. So he was so furious that how dare you break the Dhanush? He had already given, so why so much attachment to the Dhanush? But now he came. Who broke the bow of Shiva? And then he had a dialogue with a very funny dialogue with Lakshmana and all. And then he was so angry with Lakshmana, angry with Ramchandraji, because he looked at them as Kshatriyas and arrogant. So he was very furious. But Ramchandraji, with his so gentleness, calmness, compassion, the way he spoke, slowly Parshuramji also calmed down. And then he understood that Bhagavan is Sakshat, Bhagavan only, Bhagavan's avatar. So he just gave up all his mission of killing the Kshatriyas and all, and went to do tapas. So this Parshu is a very powerful weapon, can be thrown, can be used directly also. But there are those enemies which are far away, and before they come and attack us, we should be able to destroy them. So what is the weapon which can be launched at a long distance? And that weapon is called Shakti, missile. Just like nowadays we have these missiles. So from one place we can send a missile to a long distance. From one country we can send it to another country also. And it can be directed to exact the target, pinpoint the target, and it can just trace it and just shoot it. That type of missiles we have. Land-to-land missile, land-to-air missiles, and air-to-air missiles. All sorts of missiles are there. Even India has this missile which can go and shoot the satellites also. So all these different types of missiles are there, which we see it now, but in the good old days also, there were missiles and they were launched directly with hand only. Nowadays, we need some machines to launch those missiles. But little missiles can be hand launched also. So here there were missiles which could be launched directly with hand. So they are called Shakti. So what is the Shakti, this weapon in this chariot of Dharma? It's called Buddhi. Buddhi means understanding. See, before it was one of the horses, Vivek. Vivek means to discriminate, to do the vichar. And through this vichar, we arrive at an understanding. That understanding is the Buddhi. While living in this world, we should have understanding of so many things of the world, of our karma. We should have a broad knowledge about everything so that we can interact with this world properly. That general knowledge is what is called Buddhi. In Mundaka Upanishad, this is called Aparavidya, a lower knowledge, because the higher knowledge is of the self. Lower knowledge is about everything else, about dharma, about everything else. So this Buddhi, when we have that deep understanding, then we can prevent the enemies from coming in our life itself. We can destroy them from a distance. Before the anger comes, the anger can be destroyed with the proper understanding. Before jealousy comes in our life, before greed comes, before attachment comes, if we have good wisdom, we can destroy them from a distance itself. Means they will not come into our life. They will not attack us. We can prevent them from coming. Just like we take some vaccine and all, we prevent those diseases from attacking us. Similarly, this Shakti is a missile which can be thrown at a distance. That is like our Buddhi, our understanding, our wisdom. So Dana Parasu Buddhi Shakti Prachanda. Prachanda, very tremendous power, powerful missiles is this Buddhi. So all these weapons are described here, and the chariot is described, and the charioteer is described. All this is so that we actively interact with the world, interact with the negativities within, and then destroy the enemies. But the greatest of all enemy is avidya. The greatest of all enemy is the result of avidya, which is moha, adhyas. So avidya causes adhyas, and adhyas is the cause of all our sorrow and pain. Moha. It is also called moha. So moha sakala vyadhin karamula. So finally we have to gain that self-knowledge also, which alone can destroy this avidya. And that knowledge, that self-knowledge is indicated here as Bharavigyan. Bharavigyan Kathina Ko Danda. Sri Ramachandra used to carry that weapon, his bow, and his bow was called Kodanda. And that Kodanda was so powerful. With that, Bhagavan is to shoot his arrows and it will go to the mark exactly. And his arrows will return back to him. Arrows will return also. Even Hanumanji, when he went to Lanka, Tulsidaji describes that he went as Bhagwan's arrow only, like a fiery arrow. So it went, it burnt Lanka and came back. So Hanumanji went, burnt Lanka, came back to Sri Ram. So Bharavigyan is the highest knowledge, and that knowledge is the knowledge of the self, and which we gain through Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan. So here Bhagavan gives the path also. So first, what is said before this is the Pravritti Marga. So through this Pravritti Marga, and when we dedicate this all this to Bhagavan, to Ishwara, to that Satya. If we dedicate all our actions to Satya, to Ishwara, then we gain Chitta Shuddhi and we become qualified to gain knowledge. And through Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, when we gain that knowledge of the self, in Gita also Bhagavan says, you approach a teacher and learn this knowledge from the teacher. Tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti tat jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So approach a teacher who is tattvadarshi and gain this knowledge of the self. So having gained this knowledge, through this knowledge we can destroy this avidya. But this knowledge is indicated here as dhanush. And dhanush is a launcher. It is not a direct. Actually, we use that dhanush to shoot arrows. It is not the final destination. With the help of the dhanush, we shoot the arrows. In the Upanishad, in Mundaka Upanishad, this beautiful metaphor is given of meditation, in which Omkar is indicated as dhanush. So with the Omkar as dhanush, Pranavo dhanuhu ksharo yatma brahmatal laksham uchyate. You take the bow of Om and take the arrow of the Pratyagatma and shoot that arrow towards Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That is the Nididhyasana. So the Nididhyasana can happen only after gaining self-knowledge. That self-knowledge is indicated here by this Bharavigyan, and which is like Kodand, the Dhanush of Sri Ram. So after gaining this self-knowledge, means theoretical understanding of our own self, that I am Brahma. This theoretical understanding that I am Brahma is what is indicated here as Bharavigyan. But after gaining this knowledge, we have to meditate, we have to do Niridhyasana. I hope you are understanding what I am saying. In Gita also, Bhagavan says that there are these two paths, the path of action and the path of Niridhyasana. So when we follow the path of action, Karma Yoga, and dedicate our actions to Ishwara, our Chitta becomes Shuddha, and we develop the Jijnasa to know who am I. Then we approach a teacher, learn from the teacher, and the teacher teaches us, and I understand that I am Brahma. But even after understanding I am Brahma, my journey is not complete. I should meditate and gain Jnana Nishtha. So after gaining that self-knowledge, theoretical understanding that I am Brahman, and the path of that Jnana Nishtha to gain abidance in myself is what is called Jnana Marga, is the Jnana Marga. Even Shravan Manan comes under Karma Marga. But after gaining that self-knowledge, to gain abidance in the self is the Jnana Marga, is the Nivritti Dharma. So till now, Bhagavan talked about Pravritti Dharma, and now he is talking about Nivritti Dharma, because this twofold Dharma is there. I mentioned this yesterday also, Pravritti Dharma and Nivritti Dharma. So when we have undergone all these previous things properly, Chitta Shuddhi happens, and we gain that weapon of Kodanda. When we are able to hold that bow in our hand of self-knowledge, then we become capable, we become fit to follow the path of Nididhyasana, the Dhyana. And the Dhyana is mentioned in the next line. Our Ramchandraji says, Ki amala achala mana trona samana samajama niyama sili mukhanana. With that bow, then I can shoot. With that bow, when I shoot, I can destroy that avidya, that moha, the final enemy can be destroyed. Ravana can be killed with that kodanda only. No other weapon can kill him. Kodanda only can kill. No other weapon can kill our avidya. Only self-knowledge can destroy this avidya. Nothing can destroy darkness at night when the whole thing becomes dark. A little, even the light from the moon and all doesn't dispel the darkness completely. But when the sun rises, the darkness just disappears. So this self-knowledge is like the sun. But it has to be used. One should gain abidance in this knowledge. And for that, what is required? Here Bhagavan says the quiver, the soldier, the warrior should have a quiver in which he keeps all the arrows. So that quiver is very important where the arrows are kept, because those arrows are used on this kodanda to kill that enemy. And what is the quiver? The quiver is amala achala mana trona samana. Actually here Bhagavan is talking about this meditation only, which finally kills that avidya completely and one gains abidance in one's own self. And for that, what is required is our mind. Our mind should be amala achala. Two qualities are mentioned. Amala means free from all mala, free from all impurities. And all impurities will go away when we follow the pravritti marga properly, the path of karma yoga. And achala means steady mind, unmoving, like a mountain, absolutely still. That stillness of the mind and purity of the mind is like the place where arrows are kept. It's a metaphor, huh? But what Bhagavan is describing is meditation. You contemplate on this, because briefly I am mentioning all this. So amala achala mana trona saman. Trona means a quiver. And in that quiver, in that peaceful and quiet mind, the arrows are there which can destroy the enemy of this ajnana, of moha. And what are the arrows? Beautiful arrows. Sama, yama, niyama. Sili mukha nana. Sili mukha means arrows. Different types of arrows. Nana. Nana means variety of arrows. But what are the arrows? Sama. Sama means samata. What we had discussed before also. Total equanimity of the mind. When we have to meditate, after gaining that self-knowledge, we have to gain abidance. I should get direct realization that I am Brahma. Not just theoretical understanding that I am Brahma. See, when I look into the mirror, I know I can see my face. But however much I see my face, that will not make make me experience my face. I have to shift my attention from the mirror and the image to my face itself. And for that, I have to just transcend all this. I have to gain a paradigm shift. From knowing I am Brahma theoretically, I should know I am Brahma directly. And for that, samata, equanimity. So the mind is already pure and unmoving, and the arrow of samata, sama means absolute calmness, stillness. Somebody asked Bhagavan Ramana that I want to see God, what can I do? Bhagavan said, you just be still and you will know you yourself are God. That disturbance of our mind prevents us from realizing or experiencing ourselves as God, as Ishwara, because we see something different. See, when the waters are extremely pure and calm and tranquil, we can directly see the bottom. A lake is there, we can see the bottom of the lake if the waters on top is extremely pure and calm. But when means we see the bottom and we don't see the water. We don't see the water. But if the waters are disturbed, then we see the water. And when we see the water, we experience dvaita. Similarly, when the mind is disturbed, we experience dvaita, duality. When the mind is extremely calm and peaceful, there's no duality, there's only one. So sama, then yama. Yama are those 5 disciplines mentioned by Patanjali Rishi. What are they? Ahimsa, Satyam, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. Total removal of all himsa from our antakarana. Meditation is not a fight. Meditation is not a war then. It is a totally different. The sun is rising. Then sun doesn't fight with the darkness. It just rises. Sun doesn't even know that there was a darkness. We have to tell the sun, "Arey, pehle yahan par darkness tha." Sun doesn't know any darkness. So, ahimsa, satyam, asteya. Ahimsa means non-violence. Satyam means truthfulness. Asteya means non-stealing, not taking things which don't belong to me. Asteya, ahimsa, satyam, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. Brahmacharya, non-indulgence in various pleasures, and aparigraha, non-hoarding. That attitude of the mind is all this yama. When we have this fivefold, these values in the mind is extremely calm. Because the mind which is filled with himsa, want to hurt someone, disturb someone, it gets disturbed first. The mind gets disturbed first. It's like a matchstick. If you want to burn something, you burn the matchstick first. The matchstick gets burned first. Similarly, if we want to hurt someone, we will get hurt first. If we want to steal something from someone, we get stolen. Our things get stolen. It's a strange thing. So ahimsa, satyam, asteya, non-stealing, satyam, truthfulness, brahmacharya, no indulgence in pleasures, no hoarding. This attitude of the mind keeps the mind extremely calm, peaceful. Then we are ready to die within. And niyama is still subtler discipline. Shaucha, santosh, tapas, swadhyaya, Ishwara pranidham. Shaucha means purity, again of the antakarana. Shaucha, santosh, same thing which we discussed, santosh, contentment. Shaucha, santosh, tapa, austerity. Austerity is control of our senses, our mind. Shaucha, santosh, tapa, swadhyaya, self-study, understanding of our own self, maintaining that understanding in ourself, and Ishwar pranidham, and just surrendering to Ishwara within. This is indicated here like arrows, and these arrows actually, when we shoot through the bow of self-knowledge, then these arrows just kills that avidya. Avidya doesn't remain. So this is symbolically or metaphorically, Bhagavan talks about that nivritti marga, path of meditation. And both for nivritti marga as well as for pravritti marga, also obstacles can come. Even after gaining theoretical understanding of self and we are practicing meditation, obstacles can come. Some enemies can come and disturb us. Possibility is there. Suddenly some arrow can come from somewhere and hit us. Somebody can attack us with a sword. Enemy of jealousy, of attachment, of greed, of pride, of vanity can come. So I should have some protection even when I keep my weapons aside and I just am sitting, meditating. I should have some protection which will protect me. And that protection, Bhagavan says, is kavacha abhed vipra guru puja. Your deep devotion for the wise people and for the teacher. That devotion for your teacher will be like a impenetrable armor. Nothing can penetrate that armor and nothing can harm you. Even if you just are, if you have kept your weapons aside and some cheap little enemy tries to shoot you from behind or from front also, some arrow and all, the arrow will just come, touch and fall down without hurting you, without harming you. If you have that devotion to your teacher, if you have that faith in your teacher, the teacher's blessing, teacher's kripa and teacher's wisdom will be there protecting you. See, when we are meditating, we can't carry anything within. We have to walk that path alone. But even in that alone path, our teacher's words follow us. Even when we are in deep meditation, only our teacher's words can reach there. Just like a person who is sleeping, when someone dear to him calls, he wakes up. The mother calls the child wakes up. Because the mother's voice reaches the very heart of that child. Similarly, when we are meditating, the only voice, the only thing which can reach us there in a positive way is our teacher's blessing, teacher's kripa and teacher's words. There, when I am just about to abide in my own self, the teacher's words will reach me that you are that Brahma. Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. You are that Brahma. Abide in that self. Don't come out. Just be your own self. Shivoham, Shivoham. So teachers' words, teachers' love for teacher and love for the wise people who have the knowledge of the Shastras. They are the wise people, Vipra. That is like a kavacha, abhed, like an armor. Abhed means it cannot be penetrated by anything. Nothing can break that armor. Kavacha, abhed, Vipra Guru Puja. In this way, Bhagavan says, Ehi sama vijaya upayana duja. There is no other way of gaining victory in this world against all these enemies from within and without. This is the way, this chariot and this twofold path of pravritti and nivritti, path of action dedicated to Ishwara and path of meditation, going and becoming one with that Ishwara. And Bhagavan says, Sakha Dharmamaya Asaratha Jaki. He calls this Dharmamaya Ratha. This Ratha of Dharma, of righteousness. Righteousness is not a good word. For this Dharma is a more profound, deeper word. There is no translation in any other language. So let us retain that word only. Sakha Dharmamaya Asaratha Jaki. Those who have this Dharmamaya Ratha, having all these parts. The wheels should be there, the flag and flag post should be there, the 4 horses, the reins, the charioteer, and you yourself with all the weapons, the vairagya and the santosha, and dana, parshu, buddhi shakti prachanda, and finally bharavigyan, self-knowledge, and this path of meditation, and to protect you in all ways, the deep devotion and faith in your own teacher and love for your teacher. Sakha dharmamaya asaratha jake jeetana kahana katahu riputake. Bhagavan says a very strange thing. He says, if you have this chariot, you will suddenly notice that there are no enemies around. Enemies disappear. You will not find any enemies. See, the sun is the greatest enemy of darkness, but the problem is the sun never sees that enemy. Sun has never seen the enemy. Kahan hai darkness? Where is the darkness? If you hold the light in your hand and try to search darkness, you will not find it anywhere. So when we are seated in this Dharma, my chariot, we look around, there is no enemy. Everywhere you see that same Brahma, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Neha Nanasti Kinchana. No enemies anywhere. Maha Ajaya Sansar Ripu Jiti Sakai Sopi. And this, even the most terrifying enemy we call the samsara, which is caused by avidya, that enemy also you can just conquer very, very easily with this chariot, very easily. Even when the enemy comes to know that you are holding that kodanda in your hand, it will not come in front of you. It will just disappear. Before even approaching you, it will just disappear. Before even knowing, you will gain that abidance in your own self. Maha Ajaya Sansara Ripu Jiti Sakai Sobir Jake Asarata Hoi Dridha Sunahu Sakham Atidhir. Hey, my dear friend, oh, my Sakha, those who have this chariot, they will be able to conquer all enemies, including this enemy of samsara. The great enemy of ignorance. So Vibhishana, when he heard this, Suni Prabhu Bachana, Vibhishana Harashi Gahe Padakanti. Vibhishana was so delighted. He was so delighted. It was like Amrit for him. He just surrendered to Bhagavan, did namaskar to Bhagavan, held his feet. And he said that you took this opportunity to give me this greatest wisdom. Ehi misa mohi upadesehu Rama kripa sukhapunja. You are the very embodiment of all joy, all sukha. You gave me this wonderful wisdom. You took this opportunity to guide me, to teach me, and have given me the very gist, the very essence, the very secret of all the Shastras, this Dharma Maya Ratha. So thus we completed this beautiful portion of this Ramayana. Briefly, we have seen it, though if you start contemplating, it is endless, lot of jewels, lot of secrets you will understand. More and more secrets will get revealed when you contemplate, when you understand the interrelationship of all these values and all. They are very interesting and very, very deep. And the most beautifully it is presented. I don't think there is any comparison anywhere. So I am very happy Indica Moksha organized this my talks on their platform, and it gave me an opportunity to contemplate on this beautiful topic. And it was a great joy to share this with all of you who listened to me on the various platforms, even on my Facebook page and on this YouTube Advaita Vedanta, and that platform and on Zoom, etc. So I pray that all of you acquire this Dharma Ratha, and you be the warrior on this Ratha, a peaceful warrior, and march forward and attain your goal. Stop not till the goal is reached, as our Swami Vivekananda says. Arise, awake, and stop not till you reach your goal. Okay? So all the best. Hari Om.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. Such an enthralling talk series this was, to listen and to also contemplate on Vibheeshana Gita. And thanks to your lucid explanations and descriptions, it made it all the more easier for the viewers and all the seekers to understand the higher truths, the teachings of the higher truth. Viewers, may I request for any questions to be posted in the Q&A box, and I shall read them out to Swamiji? We will just give it as a few minutes, Swamiji, for the questions to come. Meanwhile, Swamiji, in the metaphor of the chariot, could you please tell how does the Lord of the chariot, how is it represented, or which part of us is the Lord of the chariot?
Actually, our inner self, we in this body, our body is like from a different angle, our body is like a chariot, as described in the Upanishad, the body as a chariot. In that, we experience the sense of I in this body. All of us, we experience a sense of I. But in the waking state, I experience that sense of I along with this physical body, along with my mind, along with my senses. In the dream state also I experience a sense of I. So that is also myself only, same I, but with a covering of mind. And I experience myself as I am, free of all my external coverings in deep sleep. So what I am in my deep sleep is the real I, who is present even now, but who is not recognizable because of these coverings. So that is I am that charioteer, the owner of the chariot. I am the master of the chariot. And my buddhi is a charioteer. And the mind is the reins. And the senses are the horses. And the vishayas, the five objects, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, they are like the roads. This is another metaphor given in the Upanishad. I think we will conclude with that note. So
Yes,
we'll conclude with a prayer, and
yes,
thank you very much, Indika Moksha and all your team, and Nitin and everyone, and Shri Hari Vithala.
Thank you
so much. You are a good, very good moderator. Now we will conclude with a prayer, and I take regular classes now on Chandogya Upanishad, and this portion of Tattvamasi Mahavakya I am dealing with now. So tomorrow we have that class every Monday, Wednesday and Thursday, 12 to 1. I hold that class on Facebook as well as on my YouTube channel. So those who are interested, they can attend these classes also. So with that, we will conclude. I wish you all the best and take care. Be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana, and see you all tomorrow for the Chandogya Upanishad class. Okay? Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Bali Siyava Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Thank you so much. Hari Om.
Hari Om.